What is normal or abnormal, for that matter, when it comes to sexual orientation? Before we answer this question, let's make sure we know what the definition of normal is. Normal can be defined in a variety of ways, including statistically. If an individual behaves like the majority of the population, then statistically the behavior is normal. And if an individual behaves like the minority of the population, then statistically the behavior is abnormal. Normal can also be defined psychologically. If the individual's behavior is bringing them happiness, then psychologically the behavior is normal. And if the individual's behavior is bringing them anxiety, then psychologically the behavior is abnormal. Normal can also be defined sociologically. If an individual's behavior is increasing their potential for more relationships, then sociologically the behavior is normal. If an individual's behavior is decreasing their potential for more relationships, then sociologically the behavior is abnormal. Normal can also be defined phylogenetically. If the behavior can be found in the animal kingdom outside of humans, then phylogenetically the behavior is normal. If the behavior cannot be found within the animal kingdom outside of humans, then phylogenetically the behavior is abnormal. Normal can also be defined legally. If there's no law against the behavior, then it is normal. If there is a law against the behavior, then it is abnormal. Lastly, normal can be defined relative to life's purpose. If an individual's behavior is consistent with life's purpose, then it is normal. If an individual's behavior is inconsistent with life's purpose, then it is abnormal. Because any one of these ways of defining normal has its upsides and downsides, the truest and most authentic way to define normal is to use all 6 of these ways. So let's use all 6 of these ways to find out if homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuality are normal or abnormal. Since most people identify their sexual orientations as being heterosexual, and a smaller number of people identify their sexual orientations as being homosexual or bisexual, from a statistical perspective, heterosexuality is normal and homosexuality and bisexuality are abnormal. Homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuality are normal from a psychological perspective because sexual orientation is not negatively correlated with happiness. Homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuality are normal from a sociological perspective because sexual orientation is not negatively correlated with the number of relationships or friends a person has. Homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuality are normal from a phylogenetic perspective because animals outside of humans are heterosexual, homosexual, and bisexual. In fact, more than 500 animal species are scientifically known to have homosexual or bisexual orientations. Homosexuality, heterosexuality, and bisexuality are normal from a legal perspective in the United States because there are no laws against a person being a particular sexual orientation. However, this definition of normal is relative to where you are in the world. Unfortunately, today, countries like Egypt, Jamaica, Lebanon, Singapore, and Uganda have laws against people being homosexual or bisexual. Lastly, whether homosexuals, heterosexuals, or bisexuals are normal from a life's purpose perspective is obviously dependent upon one's definition of the purpose of life. Whether one's definition is rooted in God or happiness or self-preservation or reproduction, bear this in mind. Heterosexuals by far are more likely than homosexuals or bisexuals to be violent towards others, to be homicidal, and to sexually assault adults, children, and their own family members. With these acts of violence in mind, heterosexuals from a life's purpose perspective are abnormal, whereas homosexuals and bisexuals from a life's purpose perspective are normal. So who's normal? People who identify their sexual orientations as being homosexual, heterosexual, and bisexual are normal on 5 of the 6 shared definitions of normality, which means to have a sexual orientation is to be normal.